In this episode of Discovery Road, Gina takes a vacation, leaving James with a new driver from Snow College.
Farmer, no cheese.
They'll sample a delicious breakfast in Spring City.
'Tis the song, the sigh of the Mormons.
Take a few music lessons.
She was one of the most famous actresses in the world.
And then try to uncover one of the most fascinating mysteries in the American theater.
All right. Rachel?
Yes.
James, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Super sub of the week, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, as they say, let's hit the road.
All right.
Well, here we go. Off to adventure in the 1955 Pontiac Chieftain. And behind the wheel, really behind the wheel, Rachel. How we drive and what we drive, that says something about us. So if you had to pick your vehicle, what would it be?
I enjoyed driving my truck because I felt like I'm a small person. I could handle something bigger.
You're behind the wheel of the truck, you feel that's what you want. So you go down the road and here I am. And okay, Rachel is in the truck. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Rachel is behind the wheel in the truck.
Sounds good to me.
After just a few miles along the historic corridor, the subject of food comes up. What did the pioneers out here eat? And where are we going to eat? Okay, Rachel, it tells me some of the settlers, some of the early menus. Spring and summer, fresh greens like dandelion, leaves, eggs, fish, fresh vegetables, of course, in the home garden. Year-round, of course, they'd salt the meat and it lasted longer. Corn and oatmeal, that was big. Homemade breads, of course. The fall and winter, pigeons, wild geese, chicken, sausages, livestock. What a different time. Would you like to have lived back 100 years ago?
It could be quite an adventure.
Road food is what you find along the way, wherever you're going. In our case, we're trying to find a place to have a little breakfast, a little bite to eat, so we can continue with our fun and exciting day. And here we are in beautiful Spring City, Utah. Wow. The entire town is on the National Register of Historic Places. Not many places can say that. Smells good in there. Let's go eat. But we'll see what they have. Das Cafe. All right, wow. We asked local resident Judy Magnuson if the food was good in here and if they allowed television crews for breakfast. The answer, a resounding yes. Absolutely. It's scrumptious German fare. Choose from a colorful chalkboard menu. German sausage and eggs, Belgian waffle, 6-grain oatmeal, or lunch items like the lip-smacking Krautburger.
I'm not an expert on the pioneers, but I can only imagine that they used a lot of potatoes and just what they grew in the garden and threw it together as well as they can.
I just love your place already.
Oh, thank you.
No, this is like hard to believe that it's a road diner, but it is. So we're going to enjoy this. How about farmer's breakfast? No cheese.
Farmer, no cheese.
Okay, so how do you top a great meal like that? Well, you go next door in this case. Welcome to Victory Hall. Come on, Rachel, I have 2 tickets to Yesterday. It's a little home movie about my search for a long-ago star. Once upon a time, in Salt Lake City, a little baby was plucked from her cradle and promptly delivered to center stage. That was the beginning of the marvelous career of Maude Adams. Early in the 20th century, she was among the best performers in all the world. She made $1 million a year. She played the biggest stages in New York and around the country. And perhaps she played in Fairview or Moroni, or right there in Spring City at Victory Hall. And yet, her story seems to have been misplaced. Woody Chalice.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, James.
So, Victory Hall.
This is it. Yeah, this is a great venue for
Entertainment, theater, historic elements, and of course, Maude Adams. We're trying to find out the whole story, Woody. We still don't have everything.
You know, with all the information we've got on Maude, it's interesting that we don't know if she acted in some of these southern Utah communities,
Which dotted the entire area. It was common to have these theaters, and they played, and it was the big thing.
It was. Theater has been a element in the culture of these people that settled this area, the Mormon culture from the Kirtland period. It's an amazing thing.
Amazing indeed. Maude Adams came from that pioneer stock. Her great-grandfather was Barnabas Adams. He worked as a night guard tending to the cattle, while Brigham Young and the pioneers slept. It was those pioneers, the Mormons, who brought with them, along with their wagons, recipes, and Bibles, music, theater, and entertainment. In the churches, hotels, Boweries, dance halls, even the saloons, they sang, danced, and acted every play they knew, including some Shakespeare. Those are the roots of Maude Adams.
These people literally sing, dance, and recreate their way across the plains, which lifts their spirits. Brigham Young saw this as a very important thing. And he had a basic philosophy that in life, to be a well-developed, rounded person, you slept 8 hours, you worked 8 hours, and you recreated for 8 hours. So how do you fill up 8 hours of recreation a day in the life of a member of the LDS Church? Well, there are lots of ways. It was active participation. But certainly music, dancing, and theater played a big role in filling up that space of time in every member's life.
So I started looking for any evidence that Maude Adams might have stepped onto stage, perhaps in Manti, in Romeo and Juliet, or Fairview, in her signature Peter Pan role. Anyone in here know anything about Maude Adams? I was able to determine that Maude played at the Corinne Opera House, but that's way north. But she did appear there. You know, the locals told me if you want to learn about history around here, Moroni Opera House.
I will sing of the Mormons, the people of the Lord, since the time when Joseph prayed for light, and the way they've been guided by Jesus' holy word and saved by the power of his might. Utah can be very proud of the fact that Maude Adams was a local girl who not only made good, but became, in her time, the most famous actress of all. Rumor has it, some people think she acted here in Sanpete County on one or more of these stages. We have no proof of that. She might have gone underground, But it's an interesting possibility that maybe Maude Adams, the highest paid actress in the world at that time, might have come back home and acted here.
It's a fascinating story, I think. You know, here in the 21st century, seemingly hardly anybody remembers who Maude Adams is or was. And back in her day, she was one of the most famous actresses in the world. She was as famous as Sarah Bernhardt, who everyone still heard of. But Maude Adams, not so much.
Okay, so she was famous a long time ago. But these theater people, like the Clive Romney fella, are they telling me all they know about Maude Adams? Or perhaps they're playing me like an old song.
'Tis the song, the sigh of the Mormons. Hard times, long have pressed us sore. Many days they have lingered around our cabin door, but now we've better days in store.
Snow College was founded when Maude Adams was about 16 years old. Who knows? She might have flirted with taking a theater class here. She would have loved it.
From the early settlers who came here beginning in 1849, bringing with them pianos in the back of their wagons and tools that they used to carve out violins and cellos and everything else that they could make. This valley has had a very rich history in the arts right from its start.
And one of the music pioneers, Rasmus Peter Larsen, a violin maker.
This violin was made by my great-grandfather, who immigrated to Utah, to Sanpete County in the 1870s. And his name was Rasmus Peter Larsen. And he had learned the art of violin making as a young man in Denmark and homesteaded some ground west of Moroni, up in the foothills there. This was actually made from native wood. You know, it was all he could afford to do, and there were a couple of times where he was able to import some nice wood from Europe to make some violins. But he made dozens and dozens of these. On the back, they're all inscribed with the name of his wife, Maria, who was my great-great-grandmother. Music was important enough to Rasmus Peter that he named my grandfather Mozart. That was his first name. Of course, in Sanpete County, people called him Mozart.
And the pioneering continues at Snow College. Believe it or not, this two-year college offers a 4-year degree in commercial music, thanks to a rare partnership between the college here in Ephraim and the Juilliard School in New York.
We have an affiliation with the Juilliard School in dance, drama, and in our case, in music. And I couldn't believe what was happening here, this little microclimate of intense study and creativity here in Ephraim, Utah. I'm from Chicago originally, and right after high school I went to New York where I completed my studies at Juilliard. And from Chicago to New York to Ephraim, Utah has been my trajectory. And people ask me, what are you doing here? I said, well, the people here have such an energy that when the opportunity came, I couldn't pass it up. So we're here, we're a small institution, but I think there's some really exciting things going on here.
What we're trying to do, and the expansions in all of the other areas of the arts in this college, we're trying to really build on the foundation of what the pioneers hauled out here in their wagons and handcarts. And it is very, very fun.
very fun indeed learning about this college, its history and connection to the arts. As for Maude Adams, well, we now know her later years were spent on campus at Stevens College in Missouri, heading the drama department there and sharing her talent and ideas, playing it forward.
She was a famous actress in her day.
One of the most revered actresses on the American stage. For many years, she was the theater's greatest box office draw.
Remember, stay ahead of them. Keep the mystery.
All 67 years and 5'4" of height and several hundred pounds of him.
He does have money, though, miss.
And never lets a soul forget it.
There must be something you like about him.
Yes, his absence.
Are you incapable of understanding that she has it within herself to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest actress of her generation?
There have been a number of books written about Maude Adams over the years and countless newspaper and magazine articles telling of her amazing career on stage. But her story remains largely unknown by the masses, an unfinished legacy, really, a story still filled with mystery. When a German U-boat torpedoed the Lusitania May 7, 1915, people scrambled for life jackets and lifeboats. But Charles Frohman, a successful theater manager of stars, including Maude Adams, helped others first, then stood on the promenade deck chomping his cigar, clasping hands with friends, and awaited his fate. One eyewitness account says Frohman reached back to his greatest hit, Peter Pan, saying, "Why fear death? It is the most beautiful adventure that life gives us." And then he was swept away.
He clearly had a huge impact on her career. I think they probably had a lot of mutual respect for one another. But Maude Adams, I think, was her own woman and did things her way. And clearly, by the end of her life, it was very, very successful. She left a sizable fortune to a covenant of nuns back in the East Coast, and I don't think she ever had any regrets about her life.
I left Ken Sanders' Rare Bookstore with a strong desire to unravel Maude's story, but I found more intrigue and a deepening mystery. The New York Times on March 1st, 1914, during the peak of her career, wrote, "The legends that have grown up about Maude Adams are without end. She is the most guessed-about person in stage life." The guessing had long stopped when Maude Adams died at age 80. In seclusion in upstate New York, Mayor Mansfield Showers told the Schenectady Gazette on July 18, 1953, "Sometimes when you'd mention her to someone, they'd ask, 'Who's Maude Adams?' People forget." But I ended my journey on this timeless note about Maude Adams. In 1909, when the Mormon Tabernacle Choir was in New York on tour, she arranged for complimentary seating for the entire choir to see her perform in Peter Pan. Good old acquaintance be forgot. Afterwards, The choir stood up and sang Auld Lang Syne. Everyone joined in. Hi, Gina. The road show went well. Rachel did a wonderful job. Kudos to Snow College. But it was a bit strange the way Rachel said goodbye. Once she learned about Maude Adams, her amazing story, and the movie Somewhere in Time, she really got into it. She even dressed up like Maude Adams. And by the way, bore a striking resemblance to her.
Well, James, I feel as if I know her.
And that's the last time I saw her.